You can see on the bottom here, I took off this panel to clean it up. Just this little access panel that I guess you can get in there to oil the register and stuff from the bottom. So I'll clean it up and I'll put that back on. I just wanted to show you this in case you have one of these machines and you were not aware that it had this access panel. Let's lost the next one. Here's one of them. You can see kind of this is the hole where the crank goes. There's some of the other casting marks. It says made by Burroughs Machine Company in Detroit, Michigan, USA. And these 4 screws are the screws to take the keyboard out, and these 4 screws are the screws to take the printing part out. So I'll put this back on and we'll continue. So I did disable this. And the way that I did that is this piece was bent over, blocking it from going forward, so I bent it back flat, then I put this all the way forward, then I took the spring off, so now it just sits like that. And I put the spring down in the bottom of the case in case at any point sometime in the future someone would, for whatever reason they want to re-enable that, they can just put the spring back on, flip that up, and then bend that tab over a little bit. But that way I don't have to try and mess around with that every time I want to get in the case. All the way down here you can see the serial number there. There's 3 in the front means class 3. So I did figure out how the crank comes off. You have to pull this little latch on the bottom, which I didn't realize you had to do. I did like this. You're looking at it from the top there and you see that down there. Anyway, I got this out and I took the handle off just because it wasn't spinning super free on the shaft. And I was surprised to find that it's not just a regular, Bakelite, I'm assuming it's Bakelite plastic. It actually has bronze or brass or whatever bushing on the inside of it. It runs all the way through. And that rides on the handle here. That's another example of the quality that they put in here. It keeps surprising me how well built this is. I don't think any of my other machines did that. Like the Martians, they just have the plastic handle right on the metal shaft. It's a nice touch. I'm just putting this back together now. Yes, I do get oil on it. I'll clean that off in a minute. And then it should just slide nicely back in there. Get it lined up. Release the handle. Now that's on. Make sure this is tight all the way. That spins nice and free. So we'll clean that up. I have to put some keys back on and then load the paper. So as far as the paper setup, originally this had a threaded piece sticking out of here that would screw into here. When I got this machine, that was broken off and stuck in here. And I looked at what the previous person's solution was to put this in place like this and then pile a bunch of some kind of plaster or something on here to hold it in place like that. Not quite sure how they changed the paper that way, but that seems to be what they did because there was some plaster left on here. And I also found some chunks on the side of the machine, which I'm assuming this is plaster. From that, I don't know what else this would be, but there was a whole bunch of chunks down in the bottom of the machine in the back there, like that. What I did, and it's not a great solution, not particularly happy about it, but what I did was I cut this into a C shape, so now it's C-shaped, and filed it so we can just put this in here and pop it in place like that, and hopefully that will hold our paper well enough. It didn't pop in all the way. There we go. Pop it in like that. So hopefully that will be good enough to hold our paper, and then when we want to change it, just pop it back out and change the paper. This is supposed to be like a buffer to hold your roll of paper, so if you have a different size roll, you can, slide this. Right now it's in a groove, so it might not want to move. There we go. See, there's a groove there that holds that. So, I have the paper here actually. This is the paper that came with it. Well, just see, part of it's all messed up. You see, the roll itself is pretty messed up too. So we'll get rid of the messed up part. We have our nice roll again, and we'll see if we can put this in. These actually move, so I can do that. And we will have to slide this thing over just a little bit, if we can. It's really stuck. There it goes. Now it goes over, okay. It really gets stuck in that groove. I'm not sure why they had that groove there, unless that was like a standard paper size back then. Of course, it might be the standard paper size that I have now, except that because the threaded shaft part isn't in there, I need this to go over a little bit more. So we'll pop this in. Did it go in all the way? I think it did. So I think that will be okay to hold the paper. This whole mechanism here in the back is all pretty rusty, as you can see. It doesn't look like it's going to come apart very easy. There are some screws, but also a lot of pieces have pins in them. So like the gear that drives the main pad in here, that's pinned on. I'm actually not sure how the pad is attached. This handle's pinned on. The lever on the other side that drives the gear, that's pinned on. So I'm not really sure how well or if this will come apart. So we can get our paper over here. So this is the paper release. Put it back like that, it should release. So we can. So hopefully that should be okay. I think it will be. I still haven't gotten any new ribbons, so I just put some WD-40 on the old ribbon. Hopefully that'll work. I do have to get some of those. I think we are ready for testing now. I also found this nail inside. It was just sitting in the bottom of the case. So how that got in there, I have no idea. Let's give this a try. It should print automatically now. Remember before I had to hold up the one lever there on the side in order to get the hammers to make the stamps print. But hopefully with the pattern back on, it should print. So let's try. Yeah, it seems to have printed. I'm not sure if you can see it in the camera or not. Looks like it might just be barely coming into camera view. Maybe not. Not sure. Maybe the camera's seeing this paper instead. Where's my finger pointing? Oh, you should be able to see it. I don't know why you can't see it. I think I mentioned this before, but the bottom piece of the legs of my tripod broke, so I can't take it up to its full height anymore. So unfortunately, that's what you get. Do one, and then we should be able to do total. Oops. And then we should be able to. There you go. Now you can see it. So it does seem to be printing, so that's good. One thing I did want to try on here, and I'm not sure if it'll work, is I wanted to try the comptometer method for division. Since this machine can't do subtraction, it can only do addition, the comptometer method for division also works by only addition, since the comptometer can also only do addition. So let's try our favorite addition or division here. So 355, and then we have to enter the 2's complement less 1. So 113, that would be 8, 8, 7, I think. Yeah, because it's 0, 1, 2, 3, so that'd be 2, so yeah. And then what we do, actually we can't enter it there. I think we have to enter it one column over. Let me see if I can. This is going to be the hard part, is getting it to clear out, since there's no clear button. There we go, cleared that. So we'll try it here instead, I think. Wait, I must have messed up. Let's reset this and try again. Let's try starting in this column, 355, because you have to have one extra position for it to carry over. See, on the comptometer, there's always one position over here. Yeah, you can see the register. There's always one position over here beyond the keyboard capacity, but in this machine, there is no extra position. The last position in the register is the last keyboard position. So we have to leave one position open. So we'll try entering 355, and then we'll do our 2's complement. And then what we do is we look at this last position, and we see a 0, so we don't do anything. Then we're going to subtract until until our number 113 is greater than what's directly below it. So I'm not going to put this in repeat mode, because if I did, then I'd have to try and figure out how to clear it. So we'll just enter it each time. So we'll do one. Actually, I have to put that in too, to make it carry over. Yeah, I think. Let's try without that, actually. I think, yeah, because I think in the comptometer method they don't do that either. I don't know, I'm confused. Let's just see what happens. We are going to try it. So 113 is still bigger, so we'll enter it again. And something tells me we have messed up, because that doesn't look right. We can keep going and just see what happens, but that doesn't seem right to me. I think it should. Yeah, that's not working. I wonder why it's not working. Let me think about that for a minute. Okay, so I think I've narrowed down the problem. For some reason this 5 key doesn't always stay up all the way. Not sure if it's a weak spring or what. Also not sure what I can do about it. I don't have any extra springs, and I really don't want to take this keyboard apart again. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that, but in the meantime we can try this again. So do 355. Actually, we can't do that. Okay. Let's clear this out first. Okay, so that's cleared out. So then we want to enter 355, which we've done. And then we want to enter 887, and I'll just hold this up in case it wants to block us again. Okay, so now 113 is still less than 242, so I'll enter it again. And 113 is still less than 129, so I'll enter again. And now you see 113 is smaller than 16, so we're going to move over one column. So I'll have to hold this up. Okay, so now 113 is less than 047, so I'll move over one more column. I was in this column, right? No, I wasn't. In this column. Now we're down to 244, so it's still 113, so less than that, so we'll go again. And 113 is still less than 131. I'll go again. Now 113 is smaller than 018, so move over one column. And now we're smaller, so we're going to stop. As you can see, these digits over here are, if you can even see those, you can see these digits over here are the first 4 digits of the result. So that's how division works on the commutameter, and the answer is yes, you can do it on this machine, although it's rather inconvenient, and it helped us discover this flaw. You see, it doesn't stay up all the way. So I have to think about what to do about that. I'm not sure what I can do. I think the only thing that I could do is replace the spring, but I don't have any springs like that, and that's going to be a major project. I have to take the whole keyboard all apart again. So I'm not sure. I think for now I'm going to leave it as is. See, it's printing nice and black. That ribbon really came back with a WD-40. Okay, I think I fixed it. You can see now it pops up fully and is nice and springy. What happened was, well, I took these 2 plates out here to get a look at it, and what happened was during the keyboard reassembly fiasco, somehow the bottom of the key stem went out the side of the spring instead of out the bottom of the spring, so the spring was then bent over off the bottom of the key stem, and because of that it was pinching, so when you push the key down, then the spring would slide up and then pinch there and wouldn't spring all the way back down. So I just took my little pick and tugged at the spring a little bit so that to unbend it a little bit so that it wouldn't have tension to pinch, and it seems to be okay. I'll clear this out here. Now if I enter my magic number, you can see that's what it enters, the 5 no longer gets in the way. So I think we had a keyboard mess around crisis averted. Okay, so let's do a test and make sure that all of our numbers enter properly. So I can put these keys back on, probably. Hopefully I can put these keys back on anyway. So if we enter all ones, okay, that works. All 2s. All 3s. All 4s. All 5s. All 6s, so see you got a 6 in that column now, where before it was just always entering 5 for anything above 5. Sevens work, we'll do all 8s. Seems to work. I don't know why they put the 9s so close to this backplate here. You can see where the paint's rubbed away there from these 3 keys, so we use the most, it seems. Oops, what happened here? Oh, these didn't clear. Okay. That's not too big of a problem. I'll just have to work them loose, I guess. They seem pretty loose. Try that again. Oh, now they came loose. Okay, that's good. So all 9s seem to work. So I think, hopefully, we can declare the keyboard good now. Let's do our division test that we tried yesterday. 355, and then we'll enter 113 in 2's complement form, less 1. So 113 is less than 355, so we'll enter that. 113 is less than 242, so we'll enter it again. And 113 is less than 129, so we'll enter it again. And 113 is not less than 016, so we'll move over. 113 is less than 160, so I'll enter it. Now 113 is not less than 047, so I'll move over. 113 is less than 470, so I'll enter. Less than 357, less than 244, less than 131, not less than 018, so I'll move over. Is less than 180, not less than 067, so we're going to stop. And this time you can see we have our correct answer appearing, 3141, and then that's as far as we can go because we're at the end of the machine. We can't move over another column. But that's the beginning of pi, which is correct. So that seems to be working. The reason why I didn't use the repeat key for this is because there's no clear key. So if I put the repeat key down and kept going, then when I got to the point where I was less than, I couldn't clear the keyboard to move over. So that's why I didn't use the repeat key. We can use the repeat key for multiplication though. So we'll clear this out. Paper is falling down, but that's okay. So if we want to do, let's multiply 625 times 625. So I'll enter 625. Repeat. So repeat goes down and then back to lock. Now we want to enter it 5 times. So we're going to enter 4 times, then take the repeat off. Take repeat off. So now we're going to move over one column, 625. We're going to put repeat on for the first time and then take it off because we're only entering this 2 times. So I'm going to take repeat off. Then we want to move over one more column. Repeat on. Now we're going to enter it 6 times in this column because we're going to have 6, then 2, then 5 for our multiplier. So we're going to enter 5 times and then take repeat off. And that's our answer, 390625. So I'm not sure how well that bottom register is showing up in the camera, so we'll total this out. So you can see in the beginning we did all of our whole row tests. Those all worked, and then we did our division. You can see beginning of our answer there, 3.14 and so on. And this is just the remainder part, and then our multiplication, and the correct result. So I think that is going to sum up this repair. The machine seems to be fully functional at this point. There's still a few cosmetic issues like the paint that's rubbed off there, and there's some paint that's chipped off here, and then there's some rust back here, but those are, surface issues that I can fix later anytime I feel like it. The reason why we painted the keyboard is because the keyboard is so hard to, it's a whole process to take these plates out to repaint them, so I wanted to make sure that I got that done and reassembled so I don't have to touch that ever again, hopefully. But these surface things I can just, any day I feel like I just come up with a paintbrush and paint that up, sand off the rust in the back there and paint that up. As far as the this thing, the paper holder and patent that's all rusty, I'm not sure what I'm going to do about that. I don't think it'll come apart far enough for me to, put it in the rust remover and then paint it. It seems to work. Everything seems to work on there, as far as I can tell, so I'm not going to worry too much about it, I guess. So I think that's going to be just about it. This machine is pretty heavy, like I mentioned, with this cast iron base plate. I'm not sure how much it weighs I think they might have switched over to an aluminum base plate later on, because this is the earlier version of this machine, and then later they redesigned it so that like the 5 and the 7 column versions weren't as wide, and they also angled the keyboard a little bit, because if you see here the key tops are angled, but that's because they have different length key stems. So that means you have to make 9 different key stem shapes in order to achieve this. What they did later was, I believe they just made one key stem shape and then took the whole keyboard and angled it up, so you got the same effect but with a lot less variety of parts. And then with that they also angled the case up too. So, and then they also changed the logo to the lowercase version, but I like this version better. So yeah, this is an earlier version. The later versions, I'm not really sure. The weight they gave on the 7 column later version I think was 40 pounds. This feels heavier than 40 pounds to me. But for one thing, this is wider because in that later version they narrowed it up a little bit so that you didn't have this extra space here. I'm not sure if I mentioned this, but there actually is enough holes in the bottom of the keyboard plate to have 2 more columns over here. So they probably just used the same keyboard base and the same base plate and everything for both the 7 column and the 9 column version. Whereas in the later revisions they made different size machines for each version, so you didn't have this extra space in the later revision. Yeah, I think they might have switched over to an aluminum base plate later on. I'm not 100% sure of that, but usually on those machines this front piece looks all shiny, which is more like aluminum, because you can see here how this is shiny where the paint's come off. You know, aluminum doesn't turn this color, whereas cast iron does. But just a guess on my part. I don't have one of those later versions, so I don't really know. So it is in comparison to the little tiny Swift adder I worked on before. So these two machines had the exact same functionality. They're both add-only listing machines, and they both have repeat, subtotal, and total functions. And actually this one is even fancier because this one has a keyboard clear, whereas that one does not. So you can see quite a bit of size difference there for machines that are pretty much exactly the same in functionality. And also this one has a larger capacity too, I believe. This one has what, 3, 6, this one has 9 digits it looks like, whereas that one only has a 7-digit capacity. So this was manufactured in 1916, and this is probably from the 40s or 50s. I'm not quite sure the year on this one. But yeah, quite a long technological progress from here to here. So I think that's going to be about it for this one. This machine should be good for its next service in 100 years. It's not going to be used every day. Probably like go about 200 years before its next service. But anyway, hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.